All right, so let's talk about theory. One of the foundational concepts on logical reasoning, so I theorize, is this idea of an argument. Now you see this word argument, and because of its ambiguous nature, meaning it's got lots of different definitions, I'm not sure what you're thinking about, right? Perhaps you're thinking about argument in the way that I'm thinking about argument, perhaps not. Perhaps you're thinking about when two people have a verbal fight. Surely that's what someone might call an argument, and yeah, that they'd be right. That is an argument, but argument also has a different definition, has a more technical definition, and that's the definition that I'm appealing to right now. Okay, so that definition is this. An argument just is a premise which supports a conclusion. Now you might wonder, what is a premise? What is a conclusion? See, I just defined one term with two other terms, and it doesn't really help if you don't know what this term means and you don't know what this term means. So the definition of these two terms is really simple. A premise is just a claim which supports another claim, which means that a conclusion is just a claim that receives support from some other claim. Pitch, catch. Gives support, takes support. Does the supporting, receives the support. It's a relationship. Let's now turn to a real example here, a set of words that I want you to think about in light of this definition of argument. Are these two sentences, do they comprise an argument? Not every mammal is suitable to keep as a pet. Tigers, for example, are very aggressive and can cause serious injuries to their owners. How do you answer this question? Am I looking at an argument? Well, hopefully by appeal to its definition. An argument, remember, consists of a premise, which is a statement that supports some other statement, which we call a conclusion. So let's apply this definition. Do you spot any statements in here which supports some other statement? Now this brings up the question of, what does it mean to support? Right? I mean, I understand what financially supports means. I don't suppose that's what you mean financially. I understand what physically supports means. You know, maybe I give you a boost as you're trying to climb over a fence. Right? Again, that's probably not what we're talking about, right? Yeah, that's right. We're not talking about that. Support here means increases likelihood of truth. That's what support means. So when you say one claim supports another claim, what you're saying is that, let's say this claim is true, that makes it more likely that this claim is true. That's what it means to support. So now we've kind of bottomed out in this game of defining terms with other terms. We started with this term argument, and in defining this term, I introduced two other terms, premise and conclusion, which then I defined in terms of this word support, which now I'm defining in these terms of increased likelihood to be true. Now, I've kind of bottomed out, right? You could ask, hey, what does it mean to increase? I'm going to just presume that you know the answer to that, okay? Because otherwise this game never ends. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like you could be like, hey, what is the likelihood? What is truth? Yeah, I'm not having that conversation. I'm just going to stop and count on the fact that you actually understand this. Okay, so now let's go ahead and apply this definition to our observation. Is this an argument? Is there a claim in here which, if the claim is true, makes some other claim more likely to be true? And the answer is yes. Yes, there is. This is the claim whose truth increases the likelihood of this claim. Let's say it's true. Tigers, right, for example, are very aggressive, can cause serious injury to their owners. This is let's say it's a true claim. You see how in a world in which tigers exist, are aggressive, can cause serious injuries to their owners, you see how in that world, this claim is now more likely to be true, that not every mammal is suitable to keep as a house pet? And you know what mammal I'm talking about, right? I'm talking about tigers. So here we are looking at an argument where the second sentence is the premise claim, and the first sentence is the conclusion claim, and the support goes this way. Now, some of you might be wondering, well, hold on a second, the arrow goes from up to down over here, but how come it goes from down to up over here? That's because order doesn't matter. You easily could have flipped around these two statements and said, tigers, for example, are very aggressive and can cause serious injuries to their owners. Not every mammal is suitable to keep as a pet. That would not have changed a thing. This would still be the premise, and it would still be supporting the conclusion, which now just exists down over here. Okay, so once again, order doesn't matter when you're determining the flow of support.